I never expected a single glance to undo me. Yet the moment she walked into the room, the world around me fell quiet. Conversations dimmed, laughter blurred. My eyes locked on her. She noticed. Of course she noticed. Her heels clicked across the marble floor as if each step had been choreographed for me alone. Her dress clung to her frame, dark silk rippling when she moved. She smiled at someone else, but the smile was too calculated to be real. I whispered under my breath, "What are you?" She turned suddenly, her eyes cutting into me, like she had heard. Like she had chosen me, staring already. Her voice carried enough amusement to sting. I cleared my throat. I wasn't staring, just observing, she repeated, tilting her head. That's what men say when they're caught. Her confidence rattled me. I tried to laugh, but it came out uneven. Do you always open with accusations? No, she said, stepping closer. Only when I want to see how someone reacts. My chest tightened. And how did I do? Her eyes flicked down, then back up. Not badly. He didn't look away. She was already standing too close. I could smell her perfume, sharp but sweet. I should have stepped back, but my feet refused. What's your name? I asked Celine. She let it roll off her tongue like a challenge. And you? I gave my name, though it felt irrelevant now. She had already taken control. Well, she said softly, leaning closer, I suppose we're not strangers anymore. I swallowed hard. You walked in like you owned the place. Did I? Her lips curled into a small, knowing smile. Maybe I do. Her gaze held me still. I tried to think, to resist, but every word out of her mouth pushed me deeper into her orbit. I forced myself to regain ground. Confidence doesn't make you untouchable. She raised an eyebrow. You think you could touch me? Heat spread through my chest. If I wanted to. She smiled wider. Then why haven't you? I froze. The air between us thinned. I could feel every beat of my pulse as she leaned the slightest bit closer, her shoulder brushing against mine as though it had happened by chance. I lowered my voice. Because I don't know if you want me to. Her whisper was sharp. You'd know if I didn't. Someone passed behind her, breaking the moment. She didn't move away. If anything, she leaned in closer. You don't know what you're walking into, I said, and you do. I know trouble when I see it. Her laugh was quick, dangerous. That makes two of us. I tried to breathe, but her presence made even air feel expensive. She glanced around the room, then back to me, her eyes narrowing like she had already chosen her next move. What do you want from me? I asked finally. Celine tilted her head again. That's not the right question. What is then? The question is what I'll allow you to want. The words struck me harder than they should have. You think you're in control? She reached up, adjusting the strap of her dress, deliberate, slow. I don't think... I know, my jaw tightened. And what if I don't play your game? Then you'll spend the rest of the night wondering why you didn't. She was too close now, close enough that the rest of the room vanished entirely. My body wanted to lean in, but my mind screamed against it. You like testing people, I said. I like winning, and if you lose... Her smile sharpened. I don't. I exhaled, shaking my head slightly. You're impossible. That word, she whispered, usually means unforgettable. The silence between us stretched. Hot and heavy, she suddenly reached out and touched my glass, sliding it away from me with a smirk. You drink too slowly. Maybe I like to take my time. Her hand lingered on the rim of the glass. Then you'll hate me. I never take my time. Her words sent a jolt through me. I clenched my fists at my sides, trying to ground myself. You should step back, I muttered, her voice lowered. Why are you nervous? Yes. The honesty caught her off guard. She blinked, then grinned. Good, that means you're still alive. Stared into her eyes, unwilling to break. You play too many games. You keep standing here, she said softly. The truth of it burned. I couldn't argue. Her lips hovered inches from my ear when she whispered, You won't ever escape me now, will you? Asterisk, I arrived early again. I told myself it was courtesy, but I knew the truth. She had trained me to wait. The restaurant buzzed with quiet chatter, clinking glasses, soft piano. My watch ticked louder than it should have. 20 minutes had passed, then 30. I told myself to leave, but when the door opened and she walked in, every thought of escape vanished. She wore a crimson dress that clung to her like it had been poured over her body. Her hair fell in dark waves, her lips painted to match the dress. She knew exactly what she was doing. "You're late," I said when she reached the table. "You're early," she countered, sliding into the chair opposite me. "That makes us even." I leaned back, annoyed, and yet unable to look away. "You like making me wait." She smiled slowly, pulling the menu into her hands. "It's good for you. Teaches patience." I kept my voice steady. "It teaches me you think time is yours to control, isn't it?" She lowered the menu and locked her eyes on me. "You waited, didn't you?" The waiter arrived, breaking the moment. She ordered wine without asking if I wanted any. When the waiter left, I said, "You enjoy pushing." "I enjoy watching how far someone bends before they break." "And me? How far do you think I'll bend?" She tapped her nail against the table, considering. "Far enough to keep me interested." Her confidence was a blade pressed to my throat. "You sound sure." "I am." The wine arrived. She lifted her glass and clinked it lightly against mine. "To weakness," she said. I frowned. "Why weakness?" "Because it's honest," she replied. "Strong men lie to themselves. Weak men admit they're addicted." Her words lodged in my chest. "And which am I?" She smirked. "You're still deciding." Dinner arrived, though I barely touched my plate. Her foot brushed against mine under the table, deliberate. I tensed, but she pressed further. "Do you like this game?" I asked. "I like watching you try to pretend you don't." I exhaled sharply. "You're dangerous." "Keep saying that," she said with a shrug. "Yet here you are." She leaned forward, her neckline daring gravity, her perfume wrapping around me. I could feel my pulse climbing, my will eroding. "What do you want from me?" I asked. Her eyes glimmered. "Obedience? Curiosity? Fear? Whichever comes first." "That's not love." I never said it was. The truth hit harder than her seduction. I should have stood, but I didn't. Instead, I let her foot rest against mine. Let her dictate the rhythm of my heartbeat. I tried to shift the power. "You don't scare me?" Her lips curved. "Then kiss me here. Now, in front of everyone." The challenge stung. I gripped the edge of the table. "Why?" "Because you won't." I leaned forward, my breath close to hers. "You think you know me?" "I don't need to know you," she whispered. "I just need to own you." Her words sent a chill down my spine. The waiter returned to refill glasses and she leaned back, her mask of elegance restored. I studied her, searching for a crack. "You lied earlier," I said suddenly. She arched an eyebrow. "About what?" "You said you were working all day, but I saw your phone light up before dinner." "You weren't at the office." Her smile sharpened. "Oh, darling, you'll believe anything I say." Celine had insisted I join her for a family dinner. I expected the same fire she always carried, the same sharp edges. I didn't expect Amara. She entered quietly, no red silk, no deliberate spectacle. A soft blue dress, hair tied back, a faint smile that didn't need attention. I stared before I realized it, caught off guard by the difference. Celine slipped her arm through mine, tightening her grip. "You're staring," she whispered. "She just walked in," I muttered, her nails pressed lightly against my sleeve. "Don't get ideas." "She's nothing like me." Amara reached the table, her eyes meeting mine briefly before she greeted her sister. "Celine." Celine kissed her cheek with exaggerated cheer. "Little sister." "Still hiding behind simplicity?" Amara's tone was calm. "Still pretending yours isn't exhausting?" I bit back a smile, but Celine noticed. She leaned in close to my ear. "Don't laugh. She thrives on pity." Introductions followed, and when it came to me, Amara held my hand a second too long. "So you're the one she's been talking about?" Celine cut in quickly. "Talking?" "I barely mention him." I raised an eyebrow. "Barely." She smirked. "Don't get flattered." Dinner began. Celine dominated the table with her laughter, her stories, her glass of wine, always half raised. Amara was quieter, asking me questions that no one else seemed interested in. "What do you do when you're not working?" she asked. "Not much lately," I admitted. "Work keeps me." "That sounds lonely," she said softly. Celine laughed over her glass. "He likes being kept. Don't believe his little complaints." Amara's gaze lingered on me. "No one likes being kept." The word struck deeper than I expected. I forced a smile. "You ask dangerous questions." She tilted her head. "Or honest ones." Celine slid her hand across my thigh under the table, a silent warning. I stiffened, caught between their two gazes. When dessert arrived, Celine excused herself to take a call outside. The air shifted instantly. Amara looked at me, her voice lower. "She's tightening the leash, isn't she?" I frowned. "What makes you say that?" "Because I've seen it before. She wraps people around her finger until they can't move."
Ow.
"You think I can't see it?" Her eyes softened. "I think you're too close to want to." I leaned in slightly, not sure why. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I don't want to watch her break another person who doesn't deserve it." The door opened. Selena's heels struck the floor like gunshots. She returned to her seat, slipping her arm around my shoulders this time, not my arm. Her claim was louder now. "Everything all right?" I asked her. "Better than all right," she said, eyes flicking to Amara. "Why? Did you miss me?" Amara smiled faintly, but there was pain behind it. She stood soon after, excusing herself from the table. When she passed me, she let her hand brush against mine, so quick Celine didn't see. Her voice was barely a whisper, meant only for me. "Please don't let her destroy you." Asterisk. She didn't knock when she entered my place that night. She never did. Celine liked the shock of arrival, the way her presence immediately consumed the air. She stood at the doorway, wearing a black dress that clung so tightly I felt my chest tighten just looking at her. Her lips curled as she caught me staring. "You're quiet," she said, stepping in and closing the door behind her. "You didn't tell me you were coming. I don't have to." She slipped past me, her perfume trailing in the air. "Do you want me to leave?" I hesitated. "You know the answer." Her smile sharpened. "Good. Then stop pretending you can resist me." I followed her into the living room. "You've been different since the dinner." Her eyes narrowed. "Because of Amara?" I kept my face steady. "Because I'm seeing things more clearly." Celine laughed, low and cutting. "Clarity is dangerous. You might not like what you find." Tried to steady my breath. "You like keeping me off balance?" "You need to be kept off balance. Otherwise, you'd forget how much you want me." She moved closer, her fingers brushing my collar. The contact sent heat rushing through me. "Celine," I said firmly, "you can't keep pulling me like this." Her lips hovered inches from mine. "I can, and I will." Before I could react, she pulled me into the shadows of the hallway. Her body pressed against mine, her kiss fierce, desperate, almost violent. Her lips moved with hunger, but it wasn't passion. It was possession, a claim on me. I pulled back slightly. "This isn't love." Her grip tightened on my shirt. "Love is boring. This is better." I shook my head. "Better for who?" "For both of us. You feel alive when I touch you. I feel trapped." Her laugh was quick and sharp. "Then why don't you push me away?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. My hands had betrayed me, pulling her closer instead of letting her go. She kissed me again, harder, biting my lip lightly as if to mark me. "This is mine," she whispered against my mouth. "You're mine." I closed my eyes, torn between anger and desire. "You can't own people." "I don't own people," she said. "I own you." Her certainty chilled me, but my body still leaned into her. Every second with her felt like drowning, yet I never surfaced for air. I tried again. "You don't get to control me," she smiled, pressing her forehead to mine. "Then prove it. Walk away right now." The challenge froze me. She knew I wouldn't move. She kissed me again, slower this time, savoring my weakness. "You see," she whispered, "you'll never leave me." Not for her, not for anyone. Her words hit the nerve she had been aiming for. You're threatened by Amara. Her eyes hardened. Amara doesn't matter. She's always wanted what I have, but she'll never have you. I pulled back slightly, my voice sharp. How do you know that? Because you're already under me. She kissed me again before I could answer. Her arms locked around my neck. Her body pressed so tightly against me that escape felt impossible. I hated how much my body responded to her, even as my mind screamed against it. I whispered between her kisses. This isn't me, she smirked. It is now. Her phone buzzed in her hand, and without breaking contact, she pulled it out. Her arms were still around me, her lips brushing against mine, but her eyes dropped to the glowing screen. I glanced down, and in the dim light, I saw it clearly. She was texting someone else. The family dinner felt like a performance. Celine laughed too loudly, poured wine too generously, and touched my arm every time I drifted. I kept smiling, but inside I was suffocating. Halfway through dessert, I excused myself. I just need some air. Celine tilted her head, eyes sharp. Don't be long. I walked through the glass doors into the garden. The night was quiet except for the faint hum of crickets. The grass was damp, and the moonlight painted everything in silver. That was when I saw her. Amara stood barefoot near the rose bushes, her arms wrapped around herself. She looked up as I stepped outside, her expression soft, almost guilty. I didn't mean to intrude, I said. You're not intruding, she replied. Her voice was calm, but her eyes held a sadness that pulled me in. You looked like you needed space. I did, she gave a faint smile. I know the feeling. I walked closer, keeping a cautious distance. Does she always put on a show like that? Amara's smile faded. Celine doesn't know how to live without an audience. The words lingered. I studied her, the honesty in her tone. You've seen this before? She looked away. More times than I can count. Tell me, I pressed. Her shoulders rose and fell. Celine likes control. She makes people chase her. She gives just enough to make them think they matter, then pulls it away when they're too far in to let go. That's exactly what she does, I whispered. She did it with friends. With men, even with me sometimes, Amara continued. It's a pattern. She feeds on being needed, but no one is ever enough for her. I swallowed hard. So I'm just another one. You're not just another one, she said softly. You're the one she wants to break the most. That's why she clings to you. Her words cut deep. Why would you tell me this? Amara's eyes glistened. Because I see what it's doing to you, and I can't stand by and watch. The silence that followed was heavy, filled with something neither of us wanted to name. She stepped closer, her bare feet sinking slightly into the grass. Amara, I said carefully, this isn't safe. She tilted her head. What isn't? The way you're looking at me? The way I'm looking at you. Her lips parted, but she didn't step back. I didn't plan this. Neither did I. For a moment, everything else disappeared. The noise from the house, Selena's laughter, the weight of the evening, it all faded. There was only the soft glow of the moon and the warmth of Amara's presence. She reached out, her fingers brushing my arm. The touch was light, hesitant, but it sent a current through me stronger than any of Celine's calculated games. I inhaled sharply. Don't. Her hand lingered. Why not? Because she'll destroy us if she finds out. Her voice trembled. She already destroys everything she touches. I searched her eyes. They weren't daring or manipulative. They were honest, filled with something raw I hadn't felt in months' truth. Amara, I whispered, you have to stop. Did you want me to stop? I hesitated. My body screamed one answer, my mind another. I don't know. She stepped even closer. I could feel her breath against my skin. Then let me be the one to tell you what she never will. You deserve more than being someone's game piece. Her words broke something in me. You shouldn't be saying this. Maybe not, she admitted. But I couldn't stay silent. Not anymore. Her eyes searched mine, waiting. The pull between us was undeniable, frightening. My pulse pounded, and for a second I almost closed the space between us. But before I could move, the sound of a door creaking cut through the night. I turned. Celine stood in the doorway, framed by the warm light of the dining room. Her arms were crossed, her eyes locked on us. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The fire in her gaze told me everything. We were too close. The air in the dining room felt heavier when Celine came back inside. Her hands slid across my shoulders as if nothing had happened. She leaned down, lips brushing my ear. "You left me too long," she said sweetly. I forced a smile. I needed space. Her eyes glinted. "And did you find what you were looking for?" I didn't answer. She didn't wait for one. She turned to the table, laughing louder than anyone else, pouring herself another glass of wine. Every gesture screamed control. The night dragged on. When the guests finally left, she closed the door and leaned against it. "You were outside with her," she said flatly. "She's your sister. We just talked." Her eyebrow arched. "Talked? Or did she try to slip herself between us?" "You're imagining things." Her laugh was sharp. "You think I don't see the way she looks at you? Celine, you're making this into something it isn't." She stepped closer, nails tracing the edge of my jaw. "You're mine. Don't forget that." I pulled back. "Are you?" Her eyes narrowed. "What does that mean?" "You act like you own me, but I keep catching you glued to your phone." She smiled coldly. "So now you're the jealous one? Who are you texting?" "That's none of your concern. It is if I matter to you." Her voice rose. "You matter as long as you behave. The second you start questioning me, you stop being fun." I clenched my fists. "Fun? That's all I am to you?" She laughed again, but there was no warmth. "Don't pretend you don't like it. You live for the way I make you feel." I stared at her, heart pounding. "Do you ever tell the truth?" Her smile dropped. "Careful, answer me." Her eyes burned with fury. "You want truth? Fine. You are nothing without me. Without my attention, without my touch, without my beauty lighting up your dull little life, you are invisible, pathetic." The words cut deeper than I expected. My throat tightened. "Say it," she demanded. "Say you need me." I shook my head. "Not like this." Her hand cracked against the table, the sound echoing through the room. "You ungrateful fool. Do you know how many men would kill for what you have? And you dare to accuse me?" I kept my voice low. "Because I see what you're doing. You'll crawl back. They always do." I turned away. I couldn't look at her anymore. That night, I lay in bed, wide awake. Celine slept soundly beside me, her arm draped across my chest like a chain. Every word she had spat replayed in my head. But louder still were Amara's quiet truths. "She feeds on being needed. You deserve more than being someone's game piece." I couldn't shake the image of Amara in the garden. Barefoot, vulnerable, honest. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at Celine to make sure she didn't stir, then slid it into my hand. A single message glowed on the screen. From an unknown number. "If you want proof, meet me tomorrow." My chest tightened. Proof of what? Proof of everything I already feared? I looked at Selena's sleeping face. Beautiful, cold, dangerous. I turned the phone over in my hand, pulse racing. Whoever sent that message had just cracked the door to a truth I wasn't sure I was ready to face. But I knew. I would go. I had to. The cafe was nearly empty when I arrived. A man sat in the corner, cap pulled low, fingers drumming against a phone. He looked up as I approached, his face sharp, eyes tired. "You're the one who got the message?" I asked. He nodded. "Name's Victor." "I figured you should know what she's been doing." I sat down slowly. "Celine." He slid his phone across the table. On the screen were pictures Celine in his apartment, Celine kissing him. Celine laughing in a dress I had bought her. My stomach twisted. "When?" "For months," he said flatly. "You weren't the only one. You never were." I scrolled through messages filled with the same tone she used on me. Teasing, seductive, promising. My hands shook as I pushed the phone back. Why show me this? I ask because I'm done being played. She'll bleed you dry if you let her. I left without finishing my drink. My chest felt crushed, my thoughts a blur. By the time I walked into the apartment, Celine was on the couch, sipping wine like nothing in the world was wrong. "You're late," she said casually. "Did you miss me?" I dropped my keys on the table. "I met Victor." Her eyes flickered for a second, then settled back into calm. "So he showed me everything." She tilted her head, smiling faintly. "And now you know." My voice rose. "That's it? No denial? No explanation? Why bother?" She leaned back, stretching her legs. "You knew what I was from the beginning. You stayed anyway?" Words sliced through me. "I thought you cared." She laughed, soft and cruel. "Cared? Darling, I entertained you. You were a game I enjoyed. That's all." Anger surged hot in my chest. "You used me, and you let me." She stood, walking toward me with slow, deliberate steps. "Don't pretend you weren't addicted. You loved how I pulled you in. You loved the danger. Admit it." I clenched my fists. "I loved the idea of you, but this is nothing." She brushed a finger along my arm. "Then why are you shaking?" I shoved her hand away. "Because I finally see you for what you are." Her eyes flashed, but the smirk stayed. "And what will you do now?" "Leave. Run to my sister." The mention of Amara hit like lightning. I froze. Selena's smile widened. "Oh, I see it. The way you look at her. You think she's different? Sweet, innocent Amara." She leaned in close, voice dripping poison. "Ask her what she hides." "What are you talking about?" She stepped back, swirling her glass of wine. "Go on, ask her. See how long that little halo lasts?" I stared at her, fury and confusion twisting inside me. "You're lying." Her laugh echoed in the room. "Maybe, maybe not. But you'll never know until you ask." The walls felt like they were closing in. The betrayal already tore at me. But now, she had planted something worse, a seed of doubt about the only person who had given me comfort. I turned for the door. "Where are you going?" she demanded. "Anywhere but here." She called after me, her voice sharp as glass. "You'll come back. They always do." I slammed the door and walked into the night, my pulse hammering. Victor's proof burned in my mind, Selena's smirk carved into my memory, and Amara's quiet words whispered in my ears. "Please, don't let her destroy you." But now, I wondered if Celine was right. Was Amara hiding something too? Asterisk, I found Amara the next afternoon in the library of their family home, sitting by the tall window with a book open in her lap. She looked up, startled, when I closed the door behind me. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I need the truth," I said. My voice was harsher than I intended. "Celine told me to ask you what you're hiding, so tell me. Right now." Her lips parted, but no words came out. I stepped closer. "Amara," I pressed, "I can't keep drowning in lies. If you know something, I need to hear it." Her hands trembled as she set the book aside. "She said that to you?" She smirked while she said it. "Like she wanted me to doubt you." Amara's eyes glistened. "Of course she did. And tell me," I said, my chest tightening. "Is there something I should know?" Her voice broke. "Yes." The air between us shifted. I braced myself. "I tried to stay out of it," she whispered. I told myself it wasn't my place. But every day I watched her take more of you, the way she takes everything, and I couldn't stay silent anymore. "Take more of me?" I asked, her tears spilled. "She's done this all her life. Any man I've cared about, she's stolen. Not because she wanted them, just because I did." It was her way of reminding me that I would never win against her. I stared at her, stunned. "And me? You were different." She wiped her cheek with a shaky hand. "When you walked into our lives, I thought maybe she'd leave you alone. But the second she saw how I looked at you, I knew. She had to have you, even if it meant destroying me again." I stepped back, my heart pounding. "How you looked at me." Her eyes met mine, filled with a sorrow that cut deeper than Celine's cruelty ever had. "I've been in love with you for months." The words hit like a storm. I couldn't say anything, she continued, voice breaking. You were already hers. And I thought if I kept quiet, maybe it would hurt less. But it didn't. It only got worse. I swallowed hard. You should have told me. How could I? She whispered. You were under her spell. You wouldn't have believed me, my anger faltered. The fury Celine had planted inside me softened into something raw, something terrifying. I reached for Amara's hand without thinking. Why me? She let out a shaky laugh. Because you see people. Even when you're blind to Selena's lies, you look at someone and make them feel like they matter. I've never had that. Not once. Her hand in mine felt fragile, like porcelain that might break if I held too tightly. Amara, I said quietly, you have to know how dangerous this is. No, she breathed. But I don't care anymore. I can't keep pretending I don't feel it. The space between us shrank until there was almost nothing left. Her breath brushed against my cheek. My pulse hammered so loudly I thought she could hear it. You're her sister, I said, barely holding on to reason. This isn't allowed. Her voice was steady now, almost defiant. Nothing about what Celine does is allowed. Why should I keep suffering in silence while she takes everything from me? My chest ached. If she finds out, she already knows, Amara whispered. She's always known. That's why she keeps you close, to remind me she can. The truth struck like a blade. I searched her eyes, and all I saw was pain mixed with a hope she was afraid to voice. Tell me I'm wrong, she whispered. Tell me you don't feel this too. I couldn't. My silence spoke louder than any words. Her fingers slid against mine, trembling but sure. Then stop fighting it. I leaned closer, not knowing if I moved or if she did. The air grew thick with everything we weren't supposed to want. My heart told me I was already hers. We stood so close, I could feel the warmth of her body, the fragile strength of her presence pulling me in. Then a voice sliced through the air like a blade. Well, Celine said behind us. Isn't this sweet? Mara froze, eyes wide with horror. I turned slowly. Celine stood in the doorway, arms crossed, a smile curving her lips. But her eyes burned with fire. Care to explain what I'm walking in on? She asked, her tone sharp enough to draw blood. Celine's voice cracked the room like thunder. So this is it? It's my sister. She laughed, sharp and poisonous. I should have known you'd sink this low. Mara's body tensed beside me, but she didn't step away. You don't own him, Mara said, her voice trembling yet steady. Selena's eyes burned. You dare stand there and claim that? I tried to speak, but Selena's rage swallowed the air. I gave you everything, she snapped at me, and you repay me with this? You're pathetic. You gave me nothing but chains, I fired back. Her lips curled. Chains you begged for. Chains you wore proudly while I laughed. And now you crawl to my sister. Pathetic doesn't even begin to cover it. Amara moved in front of me. Stop talking to him like that. Selena's gaze cut through her. Don't pretend you're defending him. You're just trying to take what belongs to me. I'm not trying, Amara said. I'm protecting him from you. Selena's hand slammed against the table, rattling the glasses. Protecting him? You've always been jealous of me? Every man you've ever wanted chose me, and you hated it. So this time you tried to steal him back. Tears stung Amara's eyes, but she stood firm. No, you stole them because you couldn't stand the thought of me being happy. Happy, Celine hissed. You've never been worth happiness. That's why I win. That's why they always choose me. I stepped forward. Not this time. The room went still. Selena's head snapped toward me. Say that again. Not this time, I said louder, firmer. I won't let you poison me anymore. Her face twisted, fury and disbelief colliding. You think you're strong without me? You're nothing. Everything you are, everything you've become, it's because of me. I shook my head. Everything I am is despite you. Her voice rose, piercing. You'll regret saying that. Mara lifted her chin. Maybe he will. But at least he'll regret it with me, not under your shadow. Selena's hand trembled as if she might strike her. For a moment I thought she would. Instead, she grabbed the nearest glass and hurled it against the wall. Shards exploded across the floor. You think you can love him? Celine spat. You think he won't leave you too, once he sees what a coward you are? Amara flinched but didn't move from her spot in front of me. At least I'll let him choose for himself. Selena's laugh was cold and jagged. You think this is love? This is war. And you've already lost. Not this time, Amara said again, her voice shaking but unbroken. Selena's eyes glistened with fury. You're weak, Amara. You always were. That's why I had to break you. And you, she pointed at me, her hand trembling, you're weaker still. Falling for her because you couldn't handle me. I'm not falling, I said. I'm deciding. I'm deciding to breathe again. Her chest heaved. Breathe. You think she'll save you? She can't even save herself. I'm not saving him, Amara whispered. I'm choosing him. For the first time, Selene faltered. Her mouth opened, then closed, like the words wouldn't come. I reached for Amara's hand. We're not afraid of you anymore. Selena's face hardened again. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but not as much as I'd regret staying with you. The silence that followed was heavier than the glass that had shattered. Selena's eyes darted between us, wild and burning. Then she turned, storming toward the door. Her voice dropped to a venomous whisper as she reached it. You'll regret choosing her. I'll make sure of it.
Ben!
The door slammed, shaking the walls. Amara gripped my hand, her nails digging into my skin. She means it. I know, I said, my chest tight. But I'm done being afraid. Asterisk, the first morning without her was quiet. My phone lit up with her name, but I let it ring until the screen went black. When Amara saw me staring at it, she whispered, You don't have to answer. She'll keep calling, I said. Then let her. By noon, the calls turned to messages. Sweet at first. I miss you. Come back, we can fix this. Then sharper. You're making a mistake. You'll regret ignoring me. I threw the phone on the couch. She won't stop. Amara picked it up and held it out. Then block her. My thumb hovered over the screen. My chest tightened. It feels final. It has to be, she said. Or she'll drag you back in. I hit block. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. That night, Amara and I sat on the porch. She pressed her knees against mine. Does it feel different now? Like I've cut a rope I thought I needed to survive, I said. She smiled faintly. You never needed her. You just thought you did. She hate me for this, I muttered. She already hated you, Amara said softly. She just dressed it up as love. The following days were a blur of silence. No messages, no sudden appearances. Each sunrise felt cleaner, like the poison was bleeding out of me. But guilt gnawed at the edges. One evening, as Amara cooked, I asked, How do you look at me and not see betrayal? She stopped stirring. Because I know what she did to you. I know what she did to me. But I was part of her game, I said. I stayed. You survived, she corrected. Her words cut through the shame like a blade. Later that night, Amara reached for my hand. It trembled in hers. Do you ever wonder if we'll be haunted by her forever? Every day, I admitted, but this? Us. It feels real. She leaned closer, her voice almost breaking. It is real. It's the only real thing I've had in years. I kissed her forehead, and for once, there was no guilt in it. Only peace. But Selene didn't vanish. She adapted. A week later, flowers arrived at my door. A black ribbon tied around the stems. No note. Amara's face paled. That's her. I ripped the bouquet apart and tossed it in the trash. She won't win this time. That night, my phone rang again. A new number. I let it go to voicemail. The message was her voice. You think you're safe without me? You're not. I made you. Without me, you're nothing. You'll crawl back. They all crawl back. Amara clutched my hand. Don't listen. I'm done listening, I said, deleting the message. But my chest was heavy. Every word she said pressed against me like a bruise. 2 nights later, Amara whispered, while we lay in bed, she's going to try harder. She won't let go. Neither will I told her. Not of you. She buried her face in my chest, then I'll hold on to. For the first time in years, sleep came easily. No twisted games, no fear of the next explosion. Just her breath against my skin. Days stretched into weeks. Cut Selene out completely. No calls, no meetings, no explanations. And with every day that passed, I felt lighter. but the guilt never fully left. It sat quietly, whispering. Could anything born out of betrayal ever grow into love? One night, Amara asked me directly, "Do you trust me?" "Yes." "Then trust this," she said. "What we have isn't betrayal, it's survival." Her words became my anchor. We held hands in public, laughed without glancing over our shoulders. For the first time, I felt something close to peace. Fragile, fleeting, but real. That peace shattered the moment I saw the envelope on my doorstep. Red lipstick sealed across the flap. Amara's voice shook. "Don't open it." I stared at it, the weight of her handwriting on the front, pulling me down. She won't stop unless I know what she's saying. With trembling fingers, I broke the seal. A single line stared back at me. "If I can't have you, no one will." The silence was the strangest part. For weeks, Celine's presence had been everywhere. On my phone, in my chest, in every shadow that stretched across my nights. Then it stopped. No messages. No threats. Nothing but air where her claws used to be. Amara sat across from me at the kitchen table, her fingers twisting the edge of her sleeve. "Do you think it's really over?" I watched her carefully. "It feels over. But with her, I never know." "She won't come back," Amara whispered. "Not this time. Why are you so sure?" I asked. Her eyes lifted to mine, steady, despite the tremble in her voice. "Because you finally closed the door. She can't open it without you." I leaned back, the weight of her words pressing into me. "Closing the door doesn't erase the damage." "No," she admitted, "but it gives us a chance to breathe." I reached across the table and covered her hand with mine. For once, she didn't flinch. She let her palm open, fingers threading through mine like she'd been waiting her whole life to do it. "Amara," I said quietly, "do you ever feel guilty? About us?" Her eyes shimmered. "Every day. But guilt doesn't change what's real. And what's real?" She swallowed hard. "You, me, this." The way she said it tore through the last of my hesitation. I stood, pulling her with me. She followed her steps, slow but certain. Until we stood face to face in the living room, the late light spilling around us. She looked up at me, her breath shaky. Celine was fire. She burned everything she touched. "But I'm not her, I know," I said. "Do you?" I nodded. "You're not fire. You're something else. Something I can finally hold without being destroyed." Her lips parted as if she wanted to argue, but instead she whispered, "Then hold me." I did. My arms wrapped around her, not in desperation, not in fear of losing her, but in something deeper. Her head rested against my chest. I felt her exhale like she had been carrying the world alone. We stood there until she whispered, "Kiss me." It wasn't a command. Not like Selena's. It was a request, a hope, a bridge. I lowered my head, and when our lips touched, it wasn't fire or possession. It was calm, fragile, healing. She pulled back first, her eyes searching mine. That felt different. "It was," I said. "It wasn't about control. It was about us." Her smile was faint but real. "Do you think we'll make it?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But for the first time, I want to try." We sank onto the couch together, her head resting against my shoulder. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was a kind of peace I hadn't known was possible. After a while, she said softly, "She hurt you." "She hurt me. But maybe she gave us something too." I frowned. What could she have possibly given us? "The chance to find each other," Amara said. "Without her, maybe we never would have looked." Her words settled deep inside me, uncomfortable yet true. "She used her beauty to control me," I murmured. "But it was her lies that freed me, and—" Amara prompted. I kissed the top of her head. "And your love saved me." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. "Then promise me something." "What?" "That we don't let her shadow stay between us. She doesn't get to live here anymore." I tightened my arms around her. "I promise." The night stretched on, but for once I didn't dread it. I didn't wonder when the next storm would come. I didn't fear the sound of my phone or the weight of a secret. All I felt was her warmth. All I heard was her breathing against me, and for the first time since Celine had walked into my life, I was free.